Achieving administrator support can be challenging sometimes for students that have learning disabilities in the building. It involves effective communication, and sometimes it involves you having to present data driven information in order for you to really fight for the child to have what they need. Um, Here's some strategies that I can suggest when you are having a challenge with administrative support in the building. I think the very first thing we have to do is develop clear accommodation plans for them. Working closely with the special education teacher to develop clear, specific, and realistic accommodation plans for those students, clearly outlining their accommodations, their modifications, and their support services that are required, not just needed, but they are required in order for the child to have success in their academic and their well-being areas while in the learning environment. We have to present these plans to the administrators and demonstrate how they align with the students' needs and their legally bound needs in their IEP or their 504 plans. That's number one. The next thing we have to do is create a supportive team. Creating a supportive team means building a strong group of educators that advocate for this child and they're passionate about supporting the student with these learning disabilities. Presenting a united front with the parents as well as with the educators that are involved, that gives the administrator, that gives them the power to know that this is empowering when we all group together as a team and we're on the child's um, plan to do well in this learning environment, because it is, after all, a reflection of the person that is the administrator in the building, if the child is successful or not. The third thing we can do is highlight those legal requirements for those students with learning disabilities. This is familiarizing the administrator with relevant laws as well as regulations, such as the IDEA, which is Individualized Disabilities Education Act, as well as Section 504 and the Rehabilitation Act. This means emphasizing the school's legal obligation to provide appropriate accommodations and support for those students with learning disabilities. We have to also gather that comprehensive data so that we can have it to present as we're going to the administrator to show why we have to go the extra mile, as some call it, for these students. This is getting the students' academic performance data together. You need behavior records for them. And we also need any assessments that can be conducted by the special education professionals to show different baselines as well as progress that can be made if we continue to follow these plans. Another thing I would say to get the buy in from the administrator is to sometimes when you share success stories with them, it kind of helps for them to understand that I've done this before and we've done these things like utilize different strategies in the classroom, different modalities of learning. And that helps them to have more buy in because it's been done before. So, sharing successful stories of students with learning disabilities and how it has helped them to transform their lives. It has shown progress, and it also pours into the school's progress when the one student or two students, when they make progress, we all make progress. I would say advocate for resources. This is a tough one sometimes, but you must collaborate with those administrators to secure the funding and the resources that are available for those students with learning disabilities. Once those resources become available, they see how it makes a difference in those student lives. And somehow all of a sudden they're on board because it would help the entire school body. So I would say advocating for those resources that help those students with learning disabilities, because every time we've seen this in an environment of learning disabilities, that helps them. It also helps everyone in the school building. And maintaining open, fair, transparent communication with your administrators. so that they understand the progress of the students. You can share those success stories once again. And this way, they understand the ongoing needs of the students with the learning disabilities in the environment. So remember persistence and patience when it comes to convincing the administration when they are hesitant, when they're helping those students with learning disabilities, because it looks different sometimes. It's no different, but for some it does feel different. It looks different. So we have to be in a position to show some real data sometimes. So just remember, present that compelling data to them, offer professional expertise when it comes to what you know about how these things work for the students and why they work for them, foster that collaborative atmosphere, and just continue talking to your administrator, most of all, so that they understand the importance of utilizing all of these resources and working for the student, because that is the job of every educator.